I'm Tyler Lonan, Chief Analyst of Cabot Small Cap Confidential and Cabot Early Opportunities, and I'm here with your Cabot Weekly Review. I am recording this on Friday, April 21st at 1:30 Eastern Time. So we've all been really focused on, the Fed and the big picture stuff. What we're going to talk about this week is just small cap stocks set to report earnings in the next couple of weeks. It's earnings season. That's what I'm most interested in. So I've pulled out 10 names. All these stocks look pretty good on the chart. I think the businesses are interesting. They're from all different sectors, all over the map here. So no real theme in terms of sector concentration, but they all will be reporting in the next couple of weeks. They're all small caps, so I think they should be of interest to you. They certainly are to me. I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds of any of the companies because that'll just take too long. Try to keep the video to around 15 minutes. So with that said, let's just jump in. And of course, if you are going to buy any of these stocks, you're acting on your own. I'm just here to kind of inform and educate and get you started with some names that I think look pretty interesting. So, all right, let's jump in. First up here is TransMedics Group. Ticker symbol is TMDX. Market cap is $2.86 billion. Having a nice day today, had a nice day yesterday. But what the company does, so they are a medtech company and they have a platform for storing and transporting donated organs. Super normal growth rate. So revenue was up 225% in the last quarter. In this upcoming quarterly release, which is going to be a week from Monday on May 1, we are looking for revenue to be up 105% to 32.6 million. And for EPS to improve by 32%, but still negative at 26 cents a share. Just a little bit of a navigation tip here. I'm reading these numbers off from this part of the financial block. This is the Panerai solution from William O'Neill, and you can see that it's the quarter ending in March, which is written right here. So that stock obviously is looking pretty good. Next up here is Kinsale Group, totally different type of company, insurance specialist, property, casualty, title insurance, market cap of 7.5 billion, so a little bit bigger. But the stock, as you can see, is looking pretty good above the 50-day line. Earnings will be out on the 27th of April, so that is next Thursday. In terms of what to expect, consensus is that sales will be up by 20%. To about 294 million, and earnings per share will be up around 35% to $2.20. The company also pays a very, very small dividend equal to around a 0.2% yield. So not meaningful, but certainly something. All right, so that's Kinsale. Exponential Fitness is the next company, ticker symbol XPOF, market cap of 1.6 billion. So they are one of the larger franchisees of franchised studios across the country and also internationally and even on some cruise ships. So kind of everything you would expect: running, bar, yoga, boxing, rowing, Pilates, you name it. Growth has been very, very nice. So revenue was up 44% in the last quarter, expected to be up 30%. In the next quarter to 65.5 million, and earnings per share is positive, trending in the right direction. 15 cents per share is expected, so that's 180% improvement from the March quarter of a year ago. In terms of when to expect the earnings release from Exponential, so that is going to be next Thursday. A week from next Thursday on May 4th. Next up is Vista Energy. So an oil and gas production company here, sort of focused on Latin America. Looks, terrific on the chart. Market cap is 1.8 billion. I'll pull up the data block or the information block in case you want to just pause the video and look a little bit more at what they do. I'm certainly not going to read all the details on how much their production is, but you can find it there and then dig deeper on your own if you want. The data provided here for Panerai is pretty light on expectations for revenue, but you can see the trend here over the last 3 quarters, going back to June. revenue has been up 78%, 91%, and 57%. We don't have a specific consensus estimate for the upcoming quarter for revenue, but earnings per share is expected to be up significantly to $1 per share. If we look up in this data block up here, we can see 2023 estimate for earnings per share is $3.83. So that would be up almost 39-40% over 2022, and then EPS expected to rise another 18% in 2024, obviously dependent on the price of oil. But the trends are pretty decent there for Vista Energy, and the stock is responding to that. All right, next up is Tecnoglass, another Latin American company here. So a building supplier focused on glass. And again, I'll pull up the information block here just so you can get a better sense of what they do. So thermoacoustic glass, laminated glass. If you pull up their website, you'll see some of the projects that they have. It's certainly not like an unknown company in the construction world, but might be as far as investors are concerned. Revenue trends are pretty solid. So revenue was up 60% in the last quarter, expected to be up 43% in the quarter that is set to be reported a week from Thursday. In terms of earnings per share, looking for those to be up 72% to 91 cents per share. All right, so that's Tecnoglass, market cap of $2.2 billion. Next up here is Enovix Corporation. So a battery specialist here, trying to move from startup phase to commercial production phase. They have been putting out a lot of press releases lately in terms of what they're doing, purchasing, ordering, manufacturing equipment. They have some production lines that they're setting up in Malaysia. So the report that we're expecting next Wednesday is going to be more about production capacity, production line construction, financing, all that stuff, than actually, revenue, because there really is no revenue here to speak of. But an interesting story. Dig into it if you're into clean energy and battery technology. It's Enovix. Market cap is just under $2 billion. Ticker symbol is ENVX. All right, next up is Remitly Global. Ticker symbol here is RELY. Market cap is $3.12 billion. Earnings are expected to come out a week from Wednesday. Again, I'll pull up the information block here. So it's kind of like a specialty, a fintech company, digital financial services for immigrants through cross-border remittance and banking services. It's kind of a mouthful. But the company came public in 2021 and had a great launch, like a lot of companies did. And then, like a lot of companies did, saw its shares fall apart, but starting to look better now. Revenue growth here is pretty solid. Was up 41% last quarter. Is expected to be up 45% in the quarter to be reported a week from Wednesday. So that would make revenue around 197 million. And then earnings per share at break even, which would be a milestone for sure. All right. Next up is Rambus, a semiconductor company, 5.3 billion market cap. Again, I'll pull up the information block so you can read a little bit more about what markets they play in. In terms of revenue expectations for the upcoming quarter, 10% expected on revenue, so 146 million, and earnings per share of 42 cents would be up 133%. As you can see, the stock looks pretty solid, sort of flatlined around the $50 mark, but nicely above the 50-day line. All right, next up, Wingstop, ticker symbol WING. Probably know this company. It's a small, it's a restaurant chain. Small cap market cap is 5.7 billion. Trend in the stock is pretty solid. Has been above its 50-day line here, going back to January 26th. In terms of revenue expectations for the upcoming quarter, 30% growth expected, so that would put it at about 99.4 million. And then earnings per share up 32% to 45 cents a share. Wingstop does pay a very, very small dividend, less than half a percentage point. But it's something. All right, last but not least for this week is Lantheus Holdings, another medtech company here, 6.16 billion market cap. Stock just broke out to new highs, going back I guess is the beginning of last week. The information block here, if you want to read about the details. So medical imaging agents, pretty complex stuff to try to describe, but again, if you go to their website, you'll be able to read on the details there. In terms of revenue growth, 34% expected in the upcoming quarterly release. That would be about 280 million, and then $1.28 per share would be up 32%. It's not that common that you see a small medtech company that is both growing above 30% and also delivering that level of earnings per share. So something to look at there for sure. That report is expected a week from Thursday. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoy those companies, have something there that's of interest to you, and I hope you have a nice weekend. We'll be back in touch next week. Take care.